Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our RealBird Hands-on workshop. We're glad to have you here this fine Friday morning. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully this start of the new year has been good for you, and you're putting systems in place to be successful and be intentional for 2018. My name is Eric. I'm a guest host on this RealBird training webinar here today. I'm glad to have you here. I'm joined in the background, sometimes in the foreground, by one of the owners and developers of RealBird. His name's Gabe Gross. Good morning, Gabe. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I'm in Redwood City, and we're waiting again for rain next week because we need snow in the mountains and water in the lakes. And other than that, it's a beautiful time on the West Coast. And we're sorry for our brethren on the East Coast who are again freezing.
Yeah, I tell you, it's really been tough. I'm broadcasting myself from northern Utah, where we usually have a lot of snow by now, but we haven't had hardly any this season. I hear the same thing in the Rockies and Colorado, and we're all praying for more snow, more snowpack, and more rain. We all need it over here, but we're glad that it's warm. Some people had some. One of my clients in Sarasota, Florida, who moved from Boston, she's last week. She says, "You realize, Eric, it's colder in it's colder in here in the United States, some places today, than the planet Mars, of course, and that 15 inches of snow in the Sahara Desert. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff." Well, we're glad, despite the weather, that you guys are willing to come and learn how you can be successful and you can generate leads. You know, it's all about the lead in real estate. It's all about finding the people that need your services, whether they be sellers that need to sell their home and move on, or whether they need to be people that need to move on and buy a new house, buy a new condo. Well, RealBird gives you the tools so that you can put out the bait, so to speak. It's put the worm on the hook, so to speak, so that you can catch and attract people that have the services that you need, whether they be a potential seller or potential buyer. You know, the industry's been. I've worked with agents, and I worked in this industry, real estate marketing, for almost 20 years. I think this year it'll be 20 years. Yeah. And I worked with real estate agents that have been in the business 25, 30, 40 years. And things have changed so much with technology that really has actually empowered, I think, two people. Empowered basically the seller or the buyer that needs your services, but it's also empowered you as the provider of those services to be able to deliver those services and take control. I mean, I have agents that I work with and helping them with their marketing, which is what I do. I'm a technology marketing coach for real estate agents at agentwebcoach.com. And I have agents that remember the times that when everything was offline. You know, everything was in like a yellow pages or white pages, and it was not quite as big and tall, but you'd carry that around. And if you wanted to show properties, you had to have it like chained to your arm. You wouldn't like really give that to anybody to have overnight, because that's your book of business that you can do business from. And of course, gosh, we've come so far since then. And RealBird has actually been somewhat on the cutting edge of that in putting technology in the hands of many, you as a professional, and then of course the clients that you were going to look for, sellers or buyers prospecting, and is putting more power back into your hands. You know, after the people carried the books around, here's what homes are for sale. That could be crazy with the price change. They had to reproduce it like every 7 to 10 days. And of course, you had to pay for all that publishing. And some of you most of you probably haven't been in business that long to remember that. But it shifted everything to basically you put your listing in the MLS, and then you're giving it, that listing is really owned by your broker, and who has the say. Broker reciprocity came into the mix about 10 years ago, less about 12, where you could put your listing in the MLS, and then the MLS will scrape off your personal information, and then that will be disseminated, but without your initial listing information, so that other brokers and other agents could put their brand on your listing and then bring a buyer to you. No, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you're the seller and representing the seller, and there's many people willing to bring a buyer to you. Nothing problem with that. But the sea change was different with RealBird is really empower you on all sides of the transaction, on all sides of that listing, letting you be able to syndicate your own listing with your own information, not scraped off and sold by someone else. And RealBird's been key in the industry, empowering people, empowering agents to be able to do that. Now, obviously, that's on the seller side. On the buyer side, for generating a buyer prospect, we have RealBird has a lot of great tools to help you do that. One of the things is you have the ability to be able to create a listing, a single property website that has all the information you want to share. And then you have the ability to be able to, systems to be able to disseminate, share that listing everywhere. I can't tell you how many of my agents I work with, and sometimes I help them in marketing their listings and entering their listings, and I see that their MLS is restricted to 500. And Austin, let's take Austin for example. Austin, Texas, you can say exactly 509 characters, not words, characters, including spaces. So spaces are in there too. So trying to describe this lovely, Texas, Austin, Texas home that's a custom home with, the pool, and it's on the golf course and the great school district. How do you do all that? How do you explain all that? How do you really show that listing in a way that's gonna get people excited about wanting to see that home or wanting more information about it? It's not happening through your MLS, and you don't want to just rely on your MLS. You've been empowered with RealBird to be able to dress up that listing in the best way you possibly can. By the way, for not a lot of money. The tools that RealBird has are compared to other tools I've seen available to you on the internet. Glorious virtual tours and everything. They're expensive. Now you have to have great photography, but RealBird's put a lot of great tools in your hands to be able to really be the kind of agent that people will get excited about. That they'll feel like they're represented well, and feel like you're really treating their home and prospecting with it and selling it and proposing, basically sharing it in a way that nobody else can, or will take the time to do so. So within RealBird, there's two main tools inside RealBird. There's the listing publisher that gives you the tool that gives you ability to build these incredible single property websites. I'm going to pull one up right now that I put together and show you. This is a home in Sacramento, California. $759,000. California is expensive, but it is a beautiful executive home. The pictures are really nice. The drone shots. I know you got to have a drone nowadays, huh? Because people want to see what how the layout of the land is of that plot. Well, you can upload those images and people can view those. I'm just clicking through some pictures here. Look, you can put a background image behind this as well that people will see. Now, I'm on a big computer. If I'm on a smaller computer, it might not look as large, and you might not see as much as of the in the background here. Let me go ahead and make it there. So yeah, my monitor is 32 inches. If yours was like 14 or 15, or someone was viewing this, they're going to see less of the background, but they'll still see all the detail and the information they need. And of course, if they consume this information, which is a fancy way to say if they view your listings and what you have to offer on a mobile device, these are all mobile friendly. And my statistics, because I track websites that I work with my clients, it's come over 50%. In some areas, as much as 60, 70% of people that are viewing some of my clients, particularly like, the Bay Area, San Francisco, the area where Gabe is, there, Redwood City. A lot more people are into technology, and they're consuming these things up to 60, 70% on a mobile device. That means like a smartphone, or that means like a tablet. If they work at a desk all day, they don't want to come home and stare at another monitor. They're going to consume this information, look for a home or such on a smaller device. And you need to make sure you look really good on whatever device they're going to look at. RealBird has worked really hard to make that possible, that all the tools that you would use to promote your listings or your listing ability is going to be shared in a way that everybody will be able to see. So when I talked about that things have changed to where you're not just you don't have to just rely on the MLS to take your listing and find a buyer. You have tools in your toolbox from RealBird that'll help you do that. And we're going to go over some of those tools today. I was asked to share like best practices, like what are you doing for your top clients? How are they being successful using these tools? And that's one of the reasons I've been invited on this webinar here today.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Just one interjection here. Tom has asked about Zillow again. This question hasn't been coming up very much lately, but very much when Zillow stopped taking publisher fees. I just want to emphasize your point here is that now, for example, you're asking about Zillow. Well, so the MLS sends the same information to everybody, right? To Zillow, to many other sites, homes.com, to everybody through IDX, all your competition. None of that is branded to you. None of that is optimized really for online after sold life to generate leads. So the solds are all the same information, and it's going to be the same on yours if you don't change it, and if you don't create a separate website like with RealBird. And so there are serious implications for you, the agent, in using the same information from the MLS. In fact, I think syndicating your listings through the MLS is a big mistake for most agents. Why? Because everybody gets the same information. It's not so a potential consumer can go. It's good to sell the listing, so I'm not saying that that's not a problem, but people can go and buy or sell the listing through any of your competitors, and when they sit down in front of the computer because they decided to buy or sell a house, the product is you, not the listing. They don't even know what they want to buy. They don't know how the selling is going. So you have to sell yourself to them. So in lead generation, you have to be in front of them so that they can find you. And then you have to convince them within their short attention span that you are the right agent and not the 5 other agents that they've seen 10 minutes or 15 minutes before. And that is really not accomplished at all through the MLS, simply because there's nothing about you in the MLS records. And whoever gets that information is, it's great to sell the house, but will they do it with you? If it's your listing, of course, it doesn't matter because you get the commission. But if you're a buyer's agent, or if you want to double end it, or if you want to get new listings, then that's not going to help you at all.
Well, the other thing too is, I just pulled up this listing, and this listing is worth every bit of the $759,000. And how cool is that? When Zillow puts next to it that it's really only worth to them $746,000. This is on a third of an acre with a single level in an awesome area that everybody wants to be in with a pool. That doesn't really help. So the idea is you're just really taking control. I know Katarina Gassett, she's a trainer that RealBird has asked back many times to come and do these webinars and these training. She's in the trenches with her husband. They have their own brokerage in Florida, and she does advanced training for agents. And she says you got to own your listing. That listing is your bait on the hook to attract someone. And RealBird really does that, really empowers you to take control of that listing so that you can own as much of it as possible. And not only that, but allows you to show a listing not only in its active mode, but also pending and sold. If you have a listing and, for example, you have a listing and it's active and it goes pending or contingent, for example, Realtor.com, which is still out there and still one of the biggest, I think, of the top 3 places that people look to find homes, it's going to disappear. In other words, there is a window, a transactional window that's wider than just when that listing is active. If you're accepting backup offers in some of these crazy markets, that happens. Things can fall out of escrow. Fall out of the pending status, so to speak, and go back to active. Or the idea is you want as long as possible to have the confidence or your ability to represent that listing and show how you work hard, what listings you're able to acquire and sell. When you create a single property website for your listings inside your RealBird account, you can mark them pending, and they can still be out there being shared for contingent offers or requesting backup offers. And then when you mark it sold, you still have the ability to be able to show that success. To me, that's part of a resume. Let me give you an example. This is Susan Rupert. She's in State College, PA, Pennsylvania, and she's done a good job, I'd say, the last probably 5 years, where she's put all her listings into RealBird so that they're in active status and change them to pending and then change them to sold. And when you do that, you're able to create within your RealBird area. Let me show you where that is so that you can go there. You go into RealBird, you go into listing marketing, and then you're going to do widgets. And there's all kinds of widgets. Don't let this blow you away. Each one of these list widgets will do different things. If I set this to sold and turn off active and show the listing title, large blocks, preview code. Okay, so it's actually going to preview that down below. Let's see, okay, sold. I'm in Jessica's account, but this is where you, in any RealBird account, this is where you go and you're able to create these, and I create sold, and you're able to preview, get that code, and then you're able to put it on your website. So this is what I did for Susan, and this shows, obviously she sent it around State College, PA, but this is where she's been busy. If you need to, buy or sell a home, Susan's your gal. She's the one. And RealBird's helped her prove that, or put that in a way that people can say, oh my gosh, she's done a whole bunch of business here. She probably could sell my condo here, there in the State College University Park area, and here's it shown in a different way down below. That up on top was the map plotted out, but these are all her sold listings. Now it's clear. So it's clear that
it's not just that these listings instill more confidence for somebody to work with you because you have more experience, but each of these listings is a website, and sales is a numbers game, right? So if you have just your agent website out there and you rely on that for potential new buyers or sellers to find you, then they just have one thing to find. And how can they find your agent website? Well, mostly through search engines, Google and Bing, right? But because how often can you post that on your Facebook page, right? It's already there anyways, or Craigslist. But if you have all these listings, let's say you have 100 sold listings or 50 or how many, and then actives, all these are additional places to which people can find you through, right? So the more you sell, the more you increase your footprint, and so that it's more likely that somebody's going to find you and they're going to learn about you if you put the right information in the solds, which is neighborhood information, something about yourself, your testimonials, etc.
Yeah, and we've got that. So I have testimonials right here on this page. These are on every one of her, probably, I think we're almost 100 sold listings out there are living on the internet. Even though they're sold, they can still all be shared. Links at the bottom of every one of those pages. By the way, every one of those single property websites can be translated in 10 different languages. You might think in State College, well, then, it's probably how many people speak different languages. State College is becoming I think many realtors underestimate the demographics of their audience. And even in State College, they have an area where people, it's a college town, but people go to that school from all different places, even outside the country. So this is really big deal. 10 languages to translate this listing. Also, I've set it up so that her blog post articles on her website get fed to each one of these 100 listings that goes out there and shares who she is and what she's about. We're down listing. She sold all her listings in the last 6 weeks. So it's been kind of crazy. But all this information is there, a link to her website, her email address. This is all these testimonials out there sharing what she does. And this sold home is evidence of that. So can a sold listing generate a listing? Absolutely. Hey, request more information. Hey, Susan, it looks like you know the neighborhood. It looks like you sold a lot of homes there in the State College area. We're looking to move there. And you probably know someone that has a home for sale. You know what I'm saying? Every one of those is a ticket to out there, a single property website floating out there on the web to bring people back to you. That's what it's about. So make sure in your RealBird account that you're taking full advantage of your listing publisher that is creating the single property websites. Add them as active, change the pending, add them as sold. and let them do their due diligence. Let them go out and then share what you're able to do, what you can do for other people. Another way for people to, if you're going to go fishing, you're really hungry, you're in your boat, you don't know if you're going to eat that day. You take your fishing pole, you cast it out with the worm on the hook and lure or whatever, and start drawing it in. What is the hope that you're going to eat that day? Well, with these single property websites, each one is a setup. It's a fishing pole with a fish line and a hook and bait. And if you're sitting in your boat and you got 10 fishing lines, there's 10 greater chances that you're going to eat that day, right? And that's kind of a ridiculous example, but that is how you have to think. How many places can I be describing my services and how I'm different and how I can help people? And with your single property websites, you answer that question. You're able to be in many different places. By the way, recently they updated the virtual tours on the listing here. I'm going to go ahead. This is Jessica Couch. She's in Sacramento area. That was her beautiful home on Latham there with the swimming pool, the executive single level home. And these happen to be her listings. She's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pending and 3 actives right there. That's there on our website. So this listing won't just reside inside a RealBird account. We've taken that code inside her RealBird account, and here I'll show you active, pending. That's, by the way, where I am is inside RealBird, listing, marketing, and then widgets. And then there are widgets with the listing board. And I'm pulling up the active and pending, and that's that's what it's going to look like when I paste this within my website, within her website. That's going to be able to show that. You do the same thing if you want to show just sold. You just select that, and you'll be able to grab that. It also creates a listing map as well. You're going to do the same thing. That's why you'll see how I created that for Susan Rupert at State College, PA. So that's kind of a map that'll show all her active listings there. So you have these tools available to you. And so it's not just the idea that you have the single property website, that it's going to have its own life, that's going to be shared. Like here, it's shared almost 30 times in Facebook. Now, we did run an ad for this listing and post that in our Facebook account with one of the really cool landing pages that you're able to generate from the single property website. So we can see this has been reached. Now, we paid for people to see this listing, but it's also had 22 people that have seen it and viewed it that have done it organically. In other words, that Facebook found that this ad was interesting enough and that it put people in front of it to view it. But when we click on that, let's go ahead and click on that and see what happens. It's a landing page. Basically, landing pages mean we're focusing the attention of the visitor to say, hey, just focus here, fill this out, we'll get you the rest of the information about this lovely home. So we gave a little bit of details, but when they click on it, it actually comes to a landing page. And if they put their name in here, they'll get more of the information. And of course, you'll get them as a lead. Looks like if I do this, Jessica will get me as a lead. And actually, this landing page has already been shared 4 times. Pretty cool. And these are not hard to create. You have the tools all within your RealBird account. I'm going to go back to RealBird listing marketing. If I want to, let's say I want to promote this listing. This is another listing she has on Millie Street in Orangevale. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so it can just be shared. The listing can just be shared in these different places, which is fine. That's where you click to see the whole single property website. I want to say, here's for sale. Let's do for sale landing page. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. So what I can do is I can click Facebook. Let's say Facebook. Let me click Facebook. Okay, let me make sure you can see what just popped up. Let's see. Yeah, here's what it's going to look like. Okay, so you see this. Now, obviously, I don't want to share it with my name. I want to share it with her. I'm managing her page, so I can pull her page up. Pull that up here real quick. Just about there. There we go. There's just Couch. Okay, and But view. Oh, come visit. Take a look. I like take a look. It's kind of not aggressive, but it's okay. Take a look at this lovely home. See, this one has a. I'm trying to think of what's unique about this property. Real quick. I want to say something that's unique about it because you have to have something in the headline that's going to grab people. Oh, it's a great house. Let's see. It's a great house on 2 acres. So great house on 2 level acres. That's a big deal. It's a beautiful home.
Hey Eric, I think we lost the screen. Can you?
Oh, sorry. There we go. I forgot to click my button to be able to share. There we go. So I just wanted to grab a little details about that home that would get people to click on it, and that's what I'm going to use. The great house on 2 level acres in Orangeville. Okay. Property sits at the end of a peaceful street. Okay. So let me switch my screen back to what I was doing. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see that. There we go. Now I have to find it on mine. There we go. Okay, so what I'm able to do now is I'm able to take that list. Oh, give me a second here. Lost my bearing a little bit. There we go. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. Take a look. Okay, so this is, let's see, we've had some good dialogue in here, good text in here. I think being a level 2 acres, okay, great house. Take a look at this. Great house on 2 level acres in of course, Orangeville. Got to be careful about how you say quiet particularly in California. They're very specific. You don't want to insinuate that it's only seniors or that's only quiet or no children allowed. But on a private road, maybe that's a good. Okay, let's take a look at this great house on 2 level acres on a private street in Orangeville. There we go. Okay, so one enough to be able to grab their attention, and you can use hashtags too. So I think the hashtag, I would probably say hashtag 2 acre home. People that are looking for homes on it with acreage. 2 acre home. There we go. Might say something like that. Okay, so I can now post that. This will post to her Facebook page. Okay, so now I'm going to click. I'm going to be back in Facebook. Let me just show that view. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if I refresh, should be able to see that listing there. Okay, so once it's in there, you have the opportunity to boost that post or place an ad where you're selecting a custom audience on who you want to see that listing. And then you could put, of course, you could put money towards it, or there's lots of different ways to build an ad. I usually build it for traffic. Okay, take a look. So there we are. We've just posted. You're seeing my name here, Eric Zebreath, because I'm logged in to my admin. Take a look at this great home, and then I can boost that post. I click here. I can boost the post. And now, when you're posting something in your Facebook page, you have the opportunity to say, okay, who do you want to see this post that you're boosting? Do you want the people that know you, that have already liked your Facebook page, or do you want the public? Always select public. So basically what you're doing is, however large your audience is or your Facebook business page, you want to do more than that. What you want to do is you want to take advantage of Facebook and who they know, because they know particulars. This is why with my agents, I market only in Facebook. I mean, you can do Google, and you can put people in your listings in front of people using Google, but you're going to end up paying, $80 to $3, $4 a click for something, just for someone to be able to click it. I've been successful in advertising inside Facebook, of course, using RealBird tools like you're seeing here today, for around anywhere average of 15 to 30 cents a click, and which is actually really, really good. If you can spread your money and get that kind of reach for a little money, that's actually a really good thing. So we already have a customized audience that I've set up in here within 10 miles of this property, age 35. I mean, we've got to estimate that basically someone that's going to be able to afford this home is probably 35 a plus, right? And then I can say people who like the page, people like the page and friends. I can also use that as an audience as well. So I have different audiences, and they set your budget. I usually try to budget at least $40 for each one of the listings. Let's see, I'm going to choose that. So I'm going to put in there $40. Okay. Then it's going to give me an idea how often, how do I want to spend that over 3 days? I think I want to spend it more over like 7 days. I think that'll work. And then you can set up what's called a pixel. Pixel is a little bit of code that you would embed back on the website or within. I believe we can do that within RealBird as well.
Yeah, you can add the pixel code to where the Google tracking or the clicky tracking is on, and if you already have a Google tracking code in there for the Google Analytics, then you can put it on the bottom of it.
So that's it. So inside profile. No, I was wrong.
No, it's the track. It's the no. It's if you go back to listing marketing.
Yep, that's where it is. Jumping around here today. Mm-hmm. So in that specific listing,
visitor statistics up on top.
Yep. I'm jumping around too fast.
Visitor statistics.
I see it. Thank you for.
Yeah, and then that tracks everything. So in terms of Google tracking, it tracks all of your listings. So you don't have to do it for each listing. You have to set up a Google Analytics account. There's a tutorial, and you can follow Google's instructions, or you can clicky. But for individual listings, if you want to do it individually for the Facebook tracking, then you can put it in the you can put that code in the listings chat area. So if you go to the edit the listing and you go to chat, and you can put it in there. Usually that's for online chat call widget, or you can put a video in there, and you can put this on the bottom over there, and then that's going to be tracking that individually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And that helps if you can track it all possible. You'll get some tracking on your when you place an ad in Facebook. You'll get some room for tracking there, but this one will be tied with the Facebook pixel, and so that you can track it even better. So the idea is I want to take that listing and I want to market it. I want to spread that money over 7 days. I can use my Facebook pixel. I can paste it back into the RealBird area, but then I'm going to be able to boost that. I'm going to boost it right now because it's taking time to show how to set up the Facebook pixel to take a little bit longer. So, but I'm going to go ahead and boost that right now, and already people will see. It's more than just sharing people that Jessica might know that might see her listing. When you dive in and start using the Facebook tools to market it and share it, then you're getting you're getting more reach with more people. I'm not going to spend $300, but look, even for $75, I remember agents, gosh, in the past, spending what would it take to put an ad in the paper just for the weekend was like $150 to $200, 5-10 years ago. So now we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to support the newspapers, which is basically what most of the real estate was doing. We can use these online tools and target who we want to see that ad, what their demographics. When I set up demographics for a custom audience, you can set up, what their net worth is, what area, you can zoom down as little as I think a 1 to 2 mile radius around that home. I usually do between like 5 and 7 miles, sometimes 10 miles, if it's an area that's a little more sparsely populated. But I now have a boost showing, and it was 6 minutes ago, and that's already out there that Facebook is sharing everywhere. And we've been talking about sharing specific properties, but this is if you're the sales agent. So look at that. This is one I've got there, 184 clicks. And the clicks, when they click on this, of course, they're going to a place where shows that I believe that's the secondary click, where they're actually clicking to go fill out the information. So the idea is we're engaging people with probably, I think we spent $40, $50 on this and engaged 1,768 people. And of course, if I have a price change, right now this is a hot property, but say if I have a price change on that opportunity is within your RealBird account as well. So within RealBird, let me get back to RealBird. Here we go. Within RealBird, if that property changes, has a price drop, there is a landing page for that. And so let me click on this again. So whatever status it's in, there's a way to be able to address that listing. And by the way, you don't have to do the landing pages. If I want to share more of the information here and not have them fill out a general landing page where hey, you want the rest of the information, tease them, let us know who you are and we'll give you all the information. You can do that too. I clicked on Facebook for this listing, and this listing is going to be a little different in that it's going to be a link back to the complete website with all the pictures and everything without them having to give up their name or their information, who they are. So
you could also post a virtual tour. I think you wanted to show that as well.
Yeah, you bet. The new virtual tour is awesome. Okay, so let me get a virtual tour here. All a little bit new because they've upgraded a bunch of things, but let me see where here we go. Here's a legacy, here's a new unbranded virtual tour. So this is this is kind of what people want. This is kind of like put the realtor out of my mind. I just want to find out information about the property. And there's a menu up here, overview, description, not a lot, but some, enough to get them possibly interested in the property. There's the big pictures, and Jessica does a great job of taking some great photos. We always love the drone shots, right? So people can experience that. Big pictures, it's great, and they're big gallery here. Now this is the unbranded, so you would use this link, for example, if you're loading the listing in the MLS as well. You can't have any of your contact information. So this is a clean, just about the property, not about the agent. You can use that as well. There's also a branded tour that's available to you, and that's a little more simple. And it is your branding, so they can see what else other listings you have. Same translation options. The map. It's kind of a pared down version. Oh, it's got video. If you have video in there, it's got a nice big map so people can see where that is. They can print as a flyer, look at the schools. All those tools are available inside this area. But like I was saying, you could share. Let's see, make sure I'm sharing that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having to switch my screen a little bit just to be able to show that to you. Okay, so the idea is I can share more information. It doesn't have to be the landing page. You can, but if I do use this version, they're going to get right to the single property website. And either way, let me show that too. Nope, that landing page. There we go. They're going to be able to get this, but then they can share it as well. And I hope, I'm doing a lot of for my new agents. I'm setting up, listing protocols for them. Setting up systems first part of the year. So that you can be systematic. Every time you get a listing, this is what you do. Right? There's a list of things and that you want to do to be able to promote that listing. Be aggressive with it. And so you have this listing, but you have many, many places where you can share that listing. Obviously, we talked about today. You see me. You can put it on your website. You can put it in Facebook. RealBird on its own is going to take your listing. It's going to share it in a bunch of different places.
So, for example, one utility of this is not just to sell the listing and promote yourself, but if you walk into a listing presentation, right, everybody's going to tell the seller that they're going to put it on the MLS or on Zillow or any of this. But here, if you show them how you're going to target particular audiences and how you're going to, then there's texting and all this other stuff that you can show by pre-creating the listing or using someone else's listings or using your sold listings, that actually speaks to your ability to sell rather than just having just what everybody else is going to show there.
So when I work with my clients, I have them all use RealBird, of course, because RealBird is a certain amount of syndication themselves. And when that listing becomes live, they send it to a bunch of different places. But they also make it easy for you to take that listing once it's live and to be able to push it in other places as well very easily. When I set websites up for my clients, there's a way I set them up in WordPress so that they become an article, and then they can automatically be sent out to Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Twitter and other places as well. So there's a way to do that, but you can also share easily on your own once that listing is live, all these places. And by the way, with my agents, I get them to put their listings on Pinterest and Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn. I think they need to be in as many places as they can be. Active Rain. Not all my clients are willing to do that, but I think you need to have an Active Rain account, even if it's at the free level. You'll still be able to share your listing with other agents and see if they have a buyer for you. But you need to be as aggressive with that listing. Is the MLS going to take your listing and share it everywhere? Yes, they are, in many places. The List Hub or what other syndication service they might use. But that's without your contact information. We want to increase the chances that people come directly to you to that, chance to be able to represent the home on both sides. So, and you give them the opportunity with awesome photos. You can actually brand. You can actually brand a photo with your information if you're going to advertise on Craigslist and some of the other social media places as well. I know. I just saw that, Gabe, and there we go. Oh, this with Pablo. Sorry, that's another service we can use here. So branded listing photos. There we go.
But we're still seeing your Latin Drive picture.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just changing my screen. There we go.
Can't you pull the window to the screen that you're showing instead of switching screens?
It doesn't layer quite as it's supposed to. So you can brand these photos with here this one pulls in Jessica's picture and contact information right in there so that you can use it, for example, in Craigslist. If you want to post in Craigslist, they don't let you have links within the listing. That's something they turned off a few years ago. So this is the way when you add your photos, this is when you take the branded one that just got branded by RealBird and you use that as one of your photos so that they can see the information right there and get a hold of you. Another thing that's really exploded in the last 18 months to do so, basically almost 2 years, basically coming soon listings. You can do coming soon, but there's a special landing page connected to a listing that you can use for that. But there's a lot of agents out there. Hey, I've got this listing that's going to be coming on the market soon. It's hard to do. Some brokers just won't let their agents do that. Some MLSs definitely won't let people market their listings that way. But RealBird lets you do that. RealBird says, hey, this is your tool. We're working for you. We're providing you these tools. Build some excitement. I know agents I know in the Sacramento, actually San Jose area, and he gets he does the buzz. He creates the buzz about the listing. Got this listing coming to the market. He doesn't put the price in. He called me for a price. It's going to be hitting the market soon. And he's able to sell and get great offers before the home even gets on the market. Now that's an area there in Redwood City and where Gabe is in Southern California where the market's very demanding. There's not a lot of listings, and most of them are sold a lot of times before they even hit the MLS. But the idea is you have the ability with RealBird to do that, to create that tool, to create a coming soon listing. Don't even put I think you have to put the address. Isn't that right, Gabe? You have to put the address, right? But
well, you have to put at least
because that turns on some of the tools.
Yeah, you have to put at least a street in there, and then you can and then you can relocate the marker with the marker setting. But
so you're not giving the exact street. You might take one picture,
right,
in description. But I can see that's very helpful to do a coming soon listing and create the buzz before it goes in the MLS. You have the ability to be able to do that within RealBird. You're going to say something, Gabe?
No, I was just wondering, Tom asked something about hot homes advertising here in the comment section. I'm not sure exactly what he meant. Tom, maybe you can elaborate a little bit. It's for RealBird, it doesn't matter what kind of a home it is. You create a property website and then you use these advertising tools. Hot
Most areas
homes.
of the country, if you're a licensed agent, you have the ability to be able to market a HUD listing.
Yeah, so we operate under the Digital Millennium Act, right? Where we don't check what people put in the account. They have to agree to our terms of use and be truthful and obey the laws and all that stuff. We only check if somebody comes and sends an email there's a problem with the listing. Either they bought the house and it's still there and they don't want it there, or there's a fraud or something, and that happens occasionally.
So what I know about HUD listings is you can't obviously borrow somebody's posted pictures of that listing, but you can generate your own pictures and take pictures and use in front of the house. It's gonna be a little difficult if you can't get inside the house, but as much information as you can grab yourself that you're not borrowing from somebody else, you can create a listing and you can generate leads. Believe it or not, I mean. A lot of investors are looking for HUD homes, and you can then brand them here using the RealBird tool. Now, one of the part of the RealBird brain that we didn't really talk about today was the property search. This is a tool that's sourced by Oodle that RealBird gets and is able to format so it can be working inside your website. Almost every single property website that you might have has, let me get to that listing, has nearby homes turned on so that they can show, for example, where your listed home is in relationship to other homes that might be for sale. Now, is this exactly what you will find, in the MLS today? No, it's not. It's not quite as accurate. I'm just zooming out a little bit here so we show a little more homes for sale. But it gives a reference to other homes that are in the area that have been sourced into this database, so that the people can see your home. This one, so you can see there's one right down the street. By the way, they click on that home. This one here is that is Jessica Couch's team's listing, but actually they're both provided there. One's manually loaded into the system, and this is one showing through the other. So they're the same listing, but one's actually branded to her. Oh, actually, these both branded to her because one's provided by the Oodle database. So you can take that search, for example. Let me give an example. Here's Christine Hanna. She's in the Napa area, and this I built this website for her, real clean, neat website. And she wanted me to set up a home search so that people could see what other homes are for sale. Now, all those pink ones, those are actually her featured properties. That's the other ones that are fed into the database. Those are not her listings, but they'll still be branded by her. So there's a Monticello Road, Fairfield. That's a $3.7 million home. That listing can generate a lead for her because there she is. There's this listing. Request more information. She's getting, if people view that, they're clicking here that she's getting them as a lead. How cool is that? And you can configure this search to work in all different ways. You can zoom it in, you can zoom it out. People are going to be able to register to save like a home search saver account, where they'll know when things are change within this once they sign up. And I made that easy to do here, so you get a free account. Sign up to see. My page not showing up, so we'll have to refresh that and see what's going on. So you have the ability for people to be able to register and see that, and they'll show up once they fill that out. They'll show up in your RealBird area as a lead, and this is where you go and get that to embed within your website or use however you want to use it as a link.
So here is another idea. Tom mentioned mentioned in a comment section about hot homes that if you don't have any listings, right, you can use hot homes. That's a great idea, but there's a little bit more that you can do, which if you want to do that, let's say that one of your competitors has a house that you really think you can sell, right? But it's not your listing. Now, of course, you could always, within the IDX rules, you can market that like with the listing agent's or at least the broker's name and everything. But often agents don't want to do that because they're afraid that a potential buyer who is not under contract with for a buyer agreement with you will go directly to the seller. But what you can do here with RealBird is, if you set up texting, which is just $1 a month for the texting phone number, you can hook up a text code to that listing, even on the selling agent's website or wherever you put it. You can put it in RealBird as a separate, as a draft list, as a draft property website. So don't make it public. Hook up a text code to it, and then market that text code with a description, a little bit like the landing page, right? Where you say, "Great home, just came on the market. Call me for details." And people text for it. Then when they see that, they see the call to action, they text the code, and then immediately you know who they are because you have the phone number, their texting number, and you can call back, and you avoided the problem that they go to the listing agent without you knowing. Now, at least in this case, you know that they're interested in it, and then from there on, I mean, they can still go, of course, to the listing agent later, but if you call them right away and follow up, then it's much more likely that you're going to get to work with them.
So the SMS texting is an opportunity you have to be able to use a system that you're going to be able to track their cell phone number. You know, that's what people use. They're using their cell phone, and you might not know that. You might not be able to. Well, it might be the easiest way that you have for people to experience what you have to offer is using this SMS system. And I'm jumping into RealBird account for Susan Rupert, and she has her SMS set up. Jessica doesn't have it yet, but with this SMS, you can create all kinds of information points. I call them, I guess. Like, for example, this is a page, and they're not just related to your RealBird listing. All her listings have an SMS code connected to them. And this is, once you have it set up, you can do that so that information goes right to that listing, and you get them as a lead when they call in to text. You know, this take this to your number.
We're still seeing the login to your account.
Sorry, my apologize for that. Let me just refresh my screen here. Okay, there we go. Thanks for that. Okay, so within your RealBird account, if you have your SMS set up, and we've picked a local number for Susan, so this doesn't look like people are texting somewhere out in Nova Scotia. You know, it is State College area. So you can build these SMS codes that are customized. I mean, if you send this code to this phone number, she gets you as a lead, by the way, even before you fill out the page, which has this is her home valuation. What's my PA homes were homework today? Or Park Forest Village Homes for Sale. It's the landing page I set up for her for a specific neighborhood. But this SMS doesn't just work with listings. It works this way, in that you can create custom points that in other words, opportunities for you to generate leads. So take the time. It only takes about 15 minutes to set up. Costs no more than like $3 a month, and that includes the leads, and sometimes even less. And just a great way to get this information in front of people. And of course, you get them as a lead as soon as they react to it, as soon as they interact with it. So, okay. Just refreshing my screen here. Sorry about that. Okay, so there we go. So I have some just general best practices, ideas on how to use for buyers and for sellers, how to use RealBird. Happy to share this with any of you. Just have to send me an email, webcoach@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to share these notes with you. We can only do so much within a 50-minute window to be able to share with you, but hopefully I've got you guys excited and creative in how you're going to use your listings and use the RealBird tools to generate leads. That's what it's all about generating leads, buyer and seller leads. So we want you to be successful. If there are any more questions that need to be answered here today, we'd love to have you back. We get together every couple times a month to share and empower you with this knowledge so that you can be more successful and more competitive. Go ahead, Kate.
Oh, I'm just saying that, yeah, we're end of January, we're going to add some more landing pages, and
Awesome.
So we still have some of those in the works. And if you have questions, just send us an email. Webcoach@gmail.com is Eric's, and support@realbird.com.
So we want you to be successful. We want you to have the tools that your competitors don't have. We want you to be able to get listings and sell those listings, attract buyers, and build a business so that 2018 will be a great year for you. Thanks everybody for coming to the webinar. If you have any questions, of course, you can contact us. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon. Thanks everybody. Have a great
Bye.
day. Bye-bye.